I don't consider myself a masochist as a person who has a regular relationship with movies and series. I also can take only so much pain and anguish and emotion with the fictional storylines that I see. But there are some movies that just make you introspect a bit about how the hell did the creators tap into such dark themes? It often makes you think about this relationship that you shared as a viewer, and you feel slightly like disturbed by where you were transported to. So I just wanted to talk about some of those films that made you like really icky, that made you feel sick from the stomach, and it almost compelled you to make a conscious decision that you're never going to revisit this movie again. It was that disturbing. So here we're talking about disturbing Indian films that you wouldn't dare watch again. Please do write down your recommendations as well. I hope I've covered some of them in the list. Masan. There is something truly magical when creators and artists collaborate together to make a storyline a reality when they are dealing with a dearth of funds and facilities. Something about the tenacity that binds them together, a passion that wants to communicate the same to a large audience, and you feel that in every frame of Masan, with its actors, with the conviction of its storytelling, and how it invests us so deeply in their individual journeys. I just cannot go through what Devi Pathak and her father Vidyadhar Pathak, played by Richa Chadda and Sanjay Mishra, endured. A system that harasses the downtrodden, pushing them to a corner, compelling them to give up. I can't bear to see the loving relationship of Deepak and Shalu once again, played with such sincerity by Vicky and Shweta, especially knowing how it all concludes, the call for help, the hope that the pain subsides, the trauma bonding in which so much is left unsaid. It's too much to bear once more. Viran. In the infamous interview of Sandeep Reddy Vanga with Anupama Chopra, he speaks about the outrage towards Kabir Singh and references this film, stating that had this generation watched Viran, a movie for which Priyamani won a national award, that they would have absolute nightmares of what used to fly in storytelling. The film is based in a rural setting in Madurai, where caste-based segregation is rampant. Viran, played by Karti, a product of an inter-caste marriage that made the existence of his parents and his own upbringing in society hell. An ostracized life, Priyamani is obsessed with him, so much so that she bears all his violence and abuse. Nothing is more romantic than threatening your to-be in-laws. If your to-be wife gets married to someone else, you'll chop her into pieces. A truly disturbing tale that you can imagine definitely does not have a happy ending. You can revisit again and again. It's the turn of events in the latter half which are so disturbing that if I said them right now, you would think I am absolutely waffling. You have to see it to believe it. Tanya Vartanam. If you really go through some of the 80s and 90s movies of Mohanlal and Mamuti, not only are they representative of such effective performances that have aged like fine wine, but such dark themes that you wonder how the audience were reacting to such aspects playing in the theatre. Tanya Vartanam, starring Mamuti, is really a disturbing tale. A film that focuses on such interesting themes of orthodoxy, of superstition, of the herd, and how the dearth of pragmatism, science, and individualism can cause the destruction of one's soul. This plays out like any other familial tale of stories passed down for generations but scoffed at, only for it to transform into a horror film. As circumstances get so out of hand, one can't help but submit to the delusions of others, even if it means the conclusions they have about your own existence. I know this may sound very vague to you, but you have to see the downward spiral of Balan, played by Mamuti, to truly understand how dark this tale formulates to become. A movie that released over 30 years ago and is still relevant in so many ways. Sardar Udham. What is it with Vicky Kaushal films every 2 or 3 years or so that they leave you with such haunting thoughts that you can't revisit them again? Masan and Raman Raghav 2.0 are some of them, but I haven't felt more hopeless and heartbroken when during the lockdown we got to see the masterpiece that was Sardar Udham. Everything was taken away from this man. His sense of community absolutely demolished mercilessly in front of him. A journey of patience and a laser-focused goal to eliminate the head of the imperialist forces. Sardar Udham tirelessly ventured across continents, only to be treated as an international threat. The sequence of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre is still vivid in my memory. Shujit Sarkar made sure that he showcases the sequence as brutally as it may have occurred. You can't help yourself but look away in several moments of that heartbreaking chapter of history. A riveting tale that I can only see in portions and truly feel deserves way more praise. Mahanadi. You can only sit through so much trauma, even if it all works out for your protagonist by the end of it. This is what I exactly felt while sitting through the Kamal Haasan starrer Mahanadi, a film focusing on the life of a widower who is scammed into a chit fund business and framed and put in jail. Serving a long sentence, blind to how things may be developing with his family, nothing could be worse than the information Kamal Haasan's character has to process. The film does not translate into a simple revenge saga, but a deep psychological tale of dealing with trauma and violence, the visceral reactions we have as humans, and the extent to which one is pushed and tested. All of it culminating into the most primal instincts. A heartbreaking performance by the Tamil cinema legend, and a tale that really does test you of the darkness you can endure, hoping that there is justice and peace in the end. Irata, a film that failed at the box office but I feel like is nothing short of a masterpiece, is the Malayalam movie titled Irata starring Jojo George. The simple case of a policeman being shot in a police station is told in such meticulous fashion that I just marveled at the economical production and inventive screenplay of the film. The movie unfolds as the suspected individuals are hauled up together and questioned, trying to understand each one's possible motive to kill the man, each policeman having some scarred history with the deceased. How this ties into our lead actor being one of two twins is very interestingly woven, but takes such a dark path you're terribly disturbed at the revelation. The brilliant nature of this film is that it makes you believe that there is no sense of reprieve for a character so despicable, but it always pulls you back somehow with its layered writing. The climax and how exceptionally it has tied together a sense of identity and how it dooms one's life will really make your jaw drop. Kattradu Tamil. You know, when you're stepping in for a Ram film, you're going to be in for a very emotionally charged and dark tale. While Piranbu with Mamuti fits the description in every way, I think his debut directorial takes it up a notch in truly becoming a tale that is impossible to watch again. Prabhakar, played by Jiva, almost plays spectator to the development of events around him. The technological boom, the obsolete nature of his teaching job, the comparative pressure that sets in, it all becomes debilitating for the man, on the verge of the only solution being unaliving himself. The non-linear structure provides us an insight into various chapters of his life, the good, the dark, and the ugly, especially his loving relationship with Anjali that seems to be his only hope but never formulates into becoming a picture-perfect frame. The progression of events is truly heartbreaking, leading to a tale which traverses through a dark path, especially as you follow a character surrendering to a nihilistic view of life, and a storyline that just becomes an uncomfortable tragedy to sit through as the primary characters are surrounded by nothing but misery. Matrabhumi. Imagine the concept itself. A post-apocalyptic world that imagines a part of India so deeply entrenched in its regressive ways, where female infanticide has become so rampant that there was a dearth of women in society. The dreadful financial state of most people in society compels them to trade them like cattle, and a character finds herself to be wed to brothers who take turns with her in bed, a custom in which the father of the grooms makes sure he is first in line. The disturbing state of Tulip Joshi as she dies a slow death is tough to sit through. She hopes for an escape, hoping for empathy and kindness from those around her, and it's just few and far between. The little that she gets barely compensates for the trauma she endures. A truly disturbing tale that did not even get a theatrical run in this country. Matra. This definitely fits the bill of those movie edits where you think, oh, it's just a lovely Mohanlal film where he is a family man and all he wants is the best for his son's future and is hopeful that he becomes an IAS officer. What could possibly go wrong? And this Blessy directorial really becomes a journey into the darkness. You see all the signs of it going horribly wrong, and it does with the realization that Mohanlal may have Alzheimer's. This commences with harmless lapses in his day-to-day life and gets progressively worse. All your worst permutations and combinations play in your mind, only for each of them to come true. The final act and what they pulled off from a tragedy standpoint is something to marvel at, and Mohanlal's performance is so impeccable. I just don't have it in me to be seated for such brilliance. I know it's an oxymoron, but it's too heartbreaking. This is that one film, especially subscribers from Kerala and those who have watched Malayalam cinema for decades have told me is the movie they just can't revisit. Welcome Home. Never have I seen such deranged characters in a world where our poor and innocent protagonist finds herself in. Welcome Home is probably the most raw, unhinged and psychotic thriller you will see, where humans take the shape of savages, straight out of the universe of The Hills Have Eyes. Two teachers collecting population data for the census find themselves in an establishment where all seems amiss. This establishment seems nothing short of a haunted house. The two leads are compelled to find a way out of this hellhole, and it formulates some of the most gruesome and inhumane sequences that are tough to sit through. Taking the shape of a survival thriller, it really develops into becoming one of the most disturbing films I have not dared to watch again. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below of what you think are movies that you just can't revisit again because they're just too disturbing. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.